Quiet on set. Yep. Welcome to Longwoods weekend in 2021, and we figured out using experts that this is our 31st year of putting this on. We missed 2013 because it was the bicentennial for Fort Meigs and we didn't hold it. So this is our 31st time of showing up at Longwoods, and the weekend weather has proven to be very typical of Longwoods weekends.
And we're here representing the British soldier and an American soldier. You can see our wonderful British soldier, Glenn Stott, dressed in the fashionable red of the day. And of course, as a US soldier, I'm dressed in blue. We both have tombstone type shakos on, and we're both sporting muskets that would have been used during the time period.
And the British called their stovepipe Belgique shako, just to make sure that we don't get an Americanism in there. We want to defend our honor.
And of course, this is called the tombstone because there's no ventilation here. Now, Glenn's going to talk a little bit about the actual battle, which did not occur here at the Longwoods Conservation Area, but occurred down the road, and he'll talk about that.
During the War of 1812, the Longwoods Road was a major supply route for the movement of supplies to Windsor or to the Sandwich, Amherstburg area. The British Army would be marching along the road. They would have different stops. The first village was Delaware, and then they would go to Moravian Village, and then they would make their way through to the Sandwich and that area, and they also had shipments on the Thames River, and gunboats would take supplies down. In the War of 1812, in September of 1813, the British Navy lost control of Lake Erie. And as a result, General Proctor decided to abandon Fort Malden because the Americans could cut him off and surround his army without any problems. So he pulled back and was defeated at the Battle of Moraviantown, or the Battle of the Thames, on October 5th, 1813. And in that battle, the famous First Nations warrior Tecumseh was killed. And then after that, this area became a no man's land. Basically the settlers living in this area were constantly being attacked by both the British and the Americans and the First Nations, and they got their supplies from the settlers. So as a result, the settlers often hid their cattle, hid their valuables, and tried to live a life of being terrorized almost every day. So in March of 1814, the British got word that the Americans had come to a place called Battle Hill or 20 Mile Creek. And the British Army was stationed at Delaware, and they decided they were going to drive the Americans back. And Captain Basden of the 89th Regiment led a company of Royal Scots, that's the uniform I have, and a company of the 89th Regiment. And there were about 200 men altogether with some militia and First Nations, and they met the Americans at 20 Mile Creek Hill in a battle that took about an hour and a half to fight. And the British were absolutely decimated. They suffered 52 wounded and almost 15 to 20 dead. And the Americans had about 8 wounded and about 5 killed. And all the American wounded eventually died as well. And both sides retreated. The British retreated back to Delaware. The Americans retreated all the way back to Detroit. And the area still stayed a no man's land from that time. But what it meant the Battle of Longwoods meant is that the British presence in this area was totally gone. They retreated to the other side of the Grand River, and this area was left basically an open war zone for any raiding party from either the British, the First Nations, or the Americans. And it meant another year of terror for the settlers of this area.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all the reenactors that have come out to Longwoods and supported us over the last 31 years. And I want to do hats off, 3 cheers for those. Hip, hip!
Huzzah!
Hip, hip!
Huzzah!
Hip, hip!
Huzzah!
Thank you guys for coming out, everyone that comes to Longwoods, including the local populace, any visitors, and any friends from the United States that come out and help us. Thank you.